So as you know, I am Eli the Computer Guy, and today we're going to be talking about BuddyPress on WordPress and why this is such a cool thing, and basically how to turn your WordPress site into a social media platform and all the things that you have to think about it. So as you guys know, I have geekbraindump.com that started off about 2 months ago with the idea of being a blogging platform. And then I decided, how can I make this more social? If all these people are blogging, but the big thing that I want in business, that I think is important in business, is creating relationships. How can I turn geekbraindump.com into something where people can start creating relationships, so on and so forth? And so what I did is I went out and I grabbed a number of plugins and I grabbed a number of add-ons in order to create a full kind of social networking site for WordPress. But an important thing to understand, though, is that in order to create a site like geekbraindump.com is now that it's multiple different components. One of the things that is very confusing, especially when you go to install BBPress or BuddyPress or any of these other things, is that they're all individual components to a social networking site. And BuddyPress is kind of like the center component of it. So you need BuddyPress in order for everything else to work, but BuddyPress isn't everything else. BuddyPress only does a specific set of things, and so in order to get other functionality, you have to install other components. So the important thing to understand about BuddyPress when you add that to your WordPress site is this is the core of the social component of your WordPress site now. It is the core. Everything else will kind of get added on top of it. So when we talk about core, what are we talking about then? So with this core, this allows you to create your social network type profiles, so things like profile pictures, things like that. It allows for notifications, so if something happens to some kind of property of yours on the site, you can be notified about it. It gives you the messaging component, and it gives you the ability to add friends and that type of stuff. So it only gives the basic amount of social networking capability. It doesn't give you the ability to create events. It doesn't give you the ability to chat. So like all the chat functionality comes from something else. It doesn't give you a discussion forum or a bulletin board. That comes from another plugin called BBPress. All it gives you is that core functionality. So it allows you for the social networking profiles. It allows you to add friends. It allows to message people back and forth, and then it allows for communication and that kind of stuff. And that's all it does. So that's something that's very important to understand with this. So with that, let's go over, take a look at the Geek Brain Dump website so I can kind of show you what's going on so this can make a little bit more sense for you. So this obviously is geekbraindump.com, what you guys all should know and love at this point, right? And so one of the things I want to show you is up in the right-hand corner, once you have installed BuddyPress, you now get this drop-down screen, right? So here, this is all added by BuddyPress. So it gives me an activity, personal mentions, favorites, friends. It gives me the profile. It gives me the notifications. It gives me messages, friends, so on and so forth. So this all comes about because of BuddyPress. So with that, we can go and let's take a look at things like the forum, so I can kind of show you. So what I want you to understand is that the forum here, this is actually added on by something called BBPress, not BuddyPress. But it's the personal things here that BuddyPress allows. So when I click on this Nicholas guy, I can open this up, and this profile here, what we are seeing comes from BuddyPress. So we can see his activity. So this activity list comes from BuddyPress. So we can see that he replied to a topic in discussion. He wrote a new post. He replied to another topic, so on and so forth. So seeing this entire activity list of what this person did, this is what you get out of BuddyPress. If somebody mentions the person, that will be shown here. We can see friends. So he has 4 friends, so Katie and Martin and me. So we can see what's going on with them. So all of this functionality is then from there. So we can see I have the cancel friendship thing here. If I want to give him a private message, so I want to say something to him, all I would have to do is click on this, and then I could send him a subject and then the message, and then that would actually be sent to him for a message. If we go up here, we can click over to messages, and we can see my personal messages. So we can go over and see the inbox, and so we can see that I got these 4 different messages. So I can click on Jimmy Simpson and see what Jimmy Simpson said. So there we go. So this is the kind of stuff that BuddyPress, oops, here we go. This is the actual message that BuddyPress gives me. So pretty interesting. I've used BuddyPress, but never BBPress before. So this is the kind of stuff that BuddyPress allows. Now, if you go into it, it's interesting. Basically, we can go on back to the administration panel. We go down to settings, and then we go to BuddyPress, and this gives us some of our configurations here. You can see it has numerous different components here, and you can add and subtract the ones you want or don't want. So extended profiles allows you to customize your community with fully editable profile fields, account settings, friend connection. So if you want people to be allowed to create friends or not, private messaging, the activity stream, notification, user groups. So you actually can create groups for your users. You can see I unchecked that, and then site tracking, so record activity for new posts and comments. So you can turn all of that kind of stuff on and off. If we go over here, we can click on the pages. This just shows you where the activity stream and members show up, and then we can go over to settings, and this gives you some other stuff. You know, does the toolbar show up? Are users allowed to delete their accounts? Profile syncing. So this is an important one. Enable BuddyPress to WordPress profile syncing. So within this, your BuddyPress profile is actually separate than your WordPress profile. So if you want to make sure those synchronize, you need to allow that. Allow registered members to upload avatars, allow that, you know, activity streams, so on and so forth. So these are the basic components of BuddyPress, and it is a very, very useful thing. Like I can go here, and so activity shows me the activity of all the users. So again, Nicholas, Katie, Joe, Yaniv, so I can go in here and anybody can see the people that are discussing stuff. We can go over here to members. So this has come from BuddyPress. We can see all the different members. So I can see I have 71 active members so far that have actually been using it. We can do by last active. So we can go in here and we can say, oh look, Bobby was active an hour ago. Nicholas was active an hour and 21 minutes ago. Dan Campbell was active 5 hours ago, so on and so forth. And so all of this functionality comes about through BuddyPress. So the important thing to understand, though, again, like I say, whenever we're talking about BuddyPress here, is BuddyPress is only the core of the social networking component. It is not chat, it is not the discussion board, it's not some of those other things. It is what allows you to create the social networking profiles, it allows you to create the friendships, it allows you to private or public message, it allows you to see that whole activity stream. That's the core of it, and then you add the other things on top. So on top of this, I've added something called BBPress, that gives me the discussion board. On top of that, I added something called Comet Chat. Comet Chat is what gives you all the chat functionality, and then there's a few other things, but BuddyPress is that core component. I really like it. I think it's a really good idea, especially nowadays. You know, a lot of people used to use, you know, Google or still use Google for membership sites or Facebook for membership sites. But one of the things that you have to be thinking about is in this modern world, there's starting to get to be more and more pushback against Facebook, against Google, and all those things. So like right now, I no longer have a Facebook account. I absolutely and utterly do not have a Facebook account. I don't trust Facebook. I don't want to ever use Facebook again, right? So if you create a group and you put it onto Facebook, everybody who doesn't have Facebook or who has a moral problem against Facebook won't be able to join your group. What's nice is this is just a WordPress installation. So you can put WordPress on a crappy little shared hosting plan for $5 a month, add BuddyPress, add some of this other functionality, and now you have your own complete social networking site, and you don't have to worry about the problems of Facebook or Google or Twitter or any of that. You own it, you control it. yeah, so it's a good thing. Like I say, especially for something like geekbraindump.com, it's really good. Again, especially because, again, like I say, you can add chat on top of it. You can add the discussion boards on top of it. You can add the events on top of it. So we actually have an event plugin that's been added. And so you can just build this really nice, robust social networking site that is completely separate from all the jackass and ninery that these major companies are doing. So yeah, so there you go. If you're interested in it, basically, you just all you have to do is if you Google BuddyPress, it's just BUDDY press. You go to buddypress.org and you can find it. And so basically you download it. And again, all it is with BuddyPress is a plugin for WordPress. So you basically you install it as a plug. You install WordPress, then you install BuddyPress as a plugin, and then you go and play with it. I don't think there was anything too bad. I mean, it's a pretty simple install, really. Yeah, I mean, yeah, as long as you know how to administer WordPress, I don't think I had any issues whatsoever. You basically install it. You've got to muck around with configuration settings a little bit, but that's about it. It's pretty easy to install and set up, and you just got to figure it out just like any other piece of technology. So that is BuddyPress, and yeah, if you're thinking about creating your own social networking site, which you probably should think about, I think it's a good thing. So yeah, buddypress.org. Total Seminars, TotalSim.com. If you're looking for your A+, your Net+, your Security Plus certification, they have video training, practice test, exam vouchers, and more. If you are on the CompTIA track and you are looking for study prep material, study guides, that type of thing, take a look at Total Seminars, TotalSim.com, TotalSem.com. Altero.com, Altaro.com, if you're dealing with virtualization in a Hyper-V environment. So we're talking about Windows Server 2008 R2, 2012, and 2012 R2. Take a look at Altero.com. They have a number of Hyper-V backup solutions. They have the free version, which will back up to 2 VMs for free forever. They also have the unlimited version, starting at only $400 per host. I think this is a very good value. So if you are dealing with Hyper-V virtualization and you need a backup solution, take a look at Altero.com. Plixer.com. Plixer deals with NetFlow analytics software. So NetFlow is a component of Cisco equipment that shows you what's going on at the network layer, what devices are talking to what other devices, what kind of network jitter, all of that kind of stuff. So Plixer has a free piece of software called Scrutinizer. Scrutinizer is a free NetFlow network traffic analysis tool. So if you want to play around with NetFlow, if you want to see what's going on with the network layer and you have Cisco equipment, take a look at Plixer.com. Click on the link below this video. It'll bring you to this page where you can download Scrutinizer, the free NetFlow network traffic analysis tool. Adaxes.com. If you're dealing with Active Directory on a large scale, so you have hundreds of users to add, hundreds of users to disable, so on and so forth, you may want to take a look at Adaxes.com. This is Active Directory management and automation software. So this tries to automate and simplify the Active Directory workflow. So if you are in a large scale Active Directory infrastructure, take a look at Adaxes.com. Veeam.com, Veeam.com. If you just virtualized 100 servers and now you're trying to figure out how to back them up, they have solutions for ESXi, they have solutions for Hyper-V, and as you guys like, they have free stuff. So if you are dealing with a virtualized environment and you're trying to figure out a backup solution, take a look at Veeam.com. NerdsWeCanFixThat.com. If you're thinking about starting your own computer services company, but you don't want to have to worry about coming up with a logo and copyright and trademark and all of those kinds of things, you may think about buying into a computer services franchise system. Nerds We Can Fix That is a computer services franchise system. They have 62 franchises throughout the United States. They can franchise in every state other than Hawaii. They also franchise internationally. If you're thinking about starting your own computer services company, you should contact them, fill out the information below, or give them a call. Again, as I will say, franchise systems are great for a lot of people, not so good for others. Always make sure to do your due diligence, but if you're thinking about starting a computer services company anyway, you might as well contact Nerds We Can Fix That to see what they have to say. Spiceworks.com. These guys have the free network management software, the free mobile device management software, the free community with millions of users. So if you're an IT professional and you need support, Spiceworks is a great place to go. All of their stuff is basically free and just an absolutely great thing. Again, if you have any questions that I don't answer in the show that are technical in nature, we're talking about Active Directory synchronization between sites in remote areas. If you click on the link below this video, video that will take you to the Spiceworks community. They have millions of users there that will be able to help you out. So take a look at spiceworks.com. So today's hands-on review are these little microfiber cleaners that I got from Gui, Gwee, because apparently people having fingerprints on their phones and their tablets is a really big problem. I'm noticing a lot of companies are creating these little microfiber cleaners. I don't know, am I male? Am I male about the fact I don't care about fingerprints in all my electronics? I don't know, but these are pretty nice things, pretty nice little microfiber cleaners. If you in fact actually want to clean your screens on your tablets or your smartphone devices. Let's go over to my little table for a second to kind of show you what's going on. So they sent me a couple of their products, and just to show you, you know, I've got my crappy little old Galaxy S4 here. So the first thing they have is this key ring. I actually kind of like the key ring, right? So the idea is this is a normal key ring, and then this is your microfiber cleaner. So it connects, it has little magnets in here, so it kind of seals up and connects. But basically, if you care about fingerprints, you can see all the nasty little fingerprints on my phone. You can just open this up and very quickly, you can clean your phone. And I mean, that works well. For microfiber cleaners, I do have to say, it works well. You can see all of my little fingerprints are gone there. So this is a little Gui key ring thing. So this is a pretty good thing. I think this is one of those things that I might buy. The other thing that they have here is a very interesting idea. I'm not sure I would actually use it though. This is called the Gui Button, right? So this is the Gui Button. The idea is it has adhesive on the back here. So you pull this off and you would actually stick this directly to your phone. Now that then does two things for you. One of the things is once it's stuck to the phone, it has this little like kickstand thing that pops out. So then once it's on your phone, you can have a nice little kickstand. And so it's up like that. The other thing is once it's on your phone, it's actually stuck, you can pull this off. So this pulls off and then voila, it gives you a nice little microfiber cleaner. So if that's on there, then you sit here and again, you can clean up your screen if you want to clean up your screen. I guess this makes sense. I guess this makes a lot of sense. Like if you watch a lot of movies, maybe if you watch a lot of video on your smartphone, I guess I can see that. So, you know, I hop on an airplane, I'm going to be watching 2 or 3 videos on my flight across the country. I pull this out, I clean off my screen, I put it back, and then I use it as a kickstand. I guess I can see that. I guess I can see that. The only thing that I get concerned about, I don't know, sticking anything directly to the back of my smartphone, you know, that just makes me nervous. But otherwise, I mean, it has a nice build for what it is. It has nice build quality. I mean, it feels good. It's a nice sturdy plastic. The microfiber feels all soft, and it seems to be built very well. So this, again, like I say, this is a pretty interesting idea, and the key ring here works pretty well. Seems like a good thing. So these are the microfiber cleaners from Gui, and this is the button, and this is their key ring deal. If we go over to their website, we can just take a look for a second, and you can see, again, as I say, it's Gwee.com, Gwee.com. You go to products, and you can see these things. And again, the price, I mean, the price for these aren't bad. I mean, they have the Gui button is $9, and the key ring is $7. So, you know, if you want to clean off your mobile device screen, it seems like it's a good deal. I mean, that's a good price. I mean, $9 and $7, you really can't complain about the price. Again, they've got, I mean, the build quality seems good. They definitely clean off your screens well. So yeah, I don't know, if you're looking for a microfiber cleaner for your mobile devices, this is something that you may want to take a look at. What I would say, again, this was a little weird. This is a specialized thing. But I do have to say, again, if I was back out in the consulting world again, you know, having something like this is one of those things that can make your C-level executives very happy, right? Because think about this. You go and you're going to fix their computer. So you're going to fix their computer, or you're going to reconfigure their tablet or whatever else, right? You know, it's those little, the cherries on top are the things that actually get you promotions and raises and all that kind of stuff. So if you sat there and you were reconfiguring your CEO's computer, and then you just pulled this out real quick, and you polished up the screen, and then when you gave it back to them, not only is it reconfigured, but now it looks all brand new. I know you guys think that sounds goofy as hell. I know you think that sounds like I'm selling out or whatever else, but I'm telling you, doing little things like that are the things that really does help you out in the real business world. So I would really think about this key ring type thing. Like I say, you pull it out, you work on your client's computer, you shine up that screen really nice, and then you give it back to them, especially with things like Mac screens, like how many Macs are you repairing? And you do the configuration, and then you clean the screen with this. I think that would be a good thing. So I don't know. Take a look at it. Gui.com, Gwee. Seems like pretty good things, and I can definitely see the use for it. So this question comes from Dell. I was looking at playing with ESXi. Is it possible to install and use it in VirtualBox? If so, how would I do it? Well, the final part of that question, how would I do it? I'm sure Google can answer that one for you. Any kind of that kind of technical stuff, just go to Google. Google will be able to help you out better. But the real question here is, can you do ESXi on VirtualBox? And that's a question. I'm actually not sure if you can do ESXi on VirtualBox, but I honestly wouldn't mess with it. So when we're talking about ESXi and we're talking about VirtualBox, we're actually talking about two different types of virtualization hypervisors. So ESXi is something called a bare metal hypervisor. You install that directly onto a server. It's on the first level. There's not an operating system below it. There's nothing below it. You install that directly onto the hardware, and then you install your instances on top of that. So that's called a Type 1 hypervisor, a bare metal hypervisor. A VirtualBox is something called a Type 2 hypervisor. With Type 2 hypervisors, you install some kind of base operating system, whether it's Windows, whether it's Mac, whether it's Linux, whatever it is. You install a full base operating system. Then you install VirtualBox, and then you install whatever instances on top of it. There's benefits and pros and cons to Type 1 and Type 2, but we won't go into it there. So the question then is, can you install ESXi, a Type 1 hypervisor, into an instance of VirtualBox that is a Type 2 hypervisor? And that is where I will say, I can't say no. I can't say that you can't do that, but I would say you probably don't want to. Trying to, you know what I'm saying? Like, the more complicated you make these systems, the more issues that you're going to run into. So doing virtualization within virtualization, I'm not going to say it's not going to work, but I would argue you probably don't want to mess with it. I would argue it's probably going to be a pain in the butt. I have to imagine you're going to have problems with it. Now, the thing to understand with ESXi, though, is you don't need any really fancy hardware to run ESXi. Really, you can go and you can grab some crappy-ass Pentium 4 whatever, 3 gigahertz processor, 4 gigs of RAM machine, and you should be able to put ESXi into it and have it run fine. You know, any computer that's been built within in that last 4 or 5 years should work fine with ESXi. So I would say you would be far better off just finding some junk computer, throwing ESXi to play with it, than trying to install into VirtualBox. I can't say that you can't install it into VirtualBox. Just as a professional, I wouldn't do it. I think, especially if you're asking me this type of question, I think you're going to run into some really weird, wonky problems, even if it does work, and it just won't be worth a thing. So yeah, stay away from virtualization within virtualization. That looks really good in the movies. I have to say, in real life, I'd stay away from it. So this is going to be one of those, this is not how you go about it questions, right? So I have this thing from Etunwalk, you. Please, Eli, I have sent message to you before and got no reply. I presume you were so busy, but this is urgent. I want to do business with you on networking, programming, and hacking. And hacking. Yeah. If you can get in touch with me, please, right? Here's the thing. Again, I'll just go over this for another minute so you guys understand how the real world of business works. This is not how you approach somebody about business. This isn't how you approach a damn noob about business. Sure as hell not how you approach me about business. I have Twitter coming to me to ask me to do work. You know what I'm saying is whenever you're going to be approaching anybody about doing business with them, you have to give them enough information so that they know what's going on, and you have to explain to them that you are real and that there is real money on the table. Again, I know you guys think I'm really snarky when I say it, but I cost a lot of money. I'm pretty expensive. I really am. And so one of the questions that I have whenever anybody approaches me about any kind of work is, can you pay for me? Again, without getting snarky or anything, I mean, what, a minimum of $1,000 a day? I mean, $1,000 a day is about the, it's the cheap rate. It's when other things are going on, so that I think it's worth it. So one of the questions that if you ever go to approach anybody real in business, one of the things that you have to do is you have to show them that you are real, that you are willing to pay the money. I have a project and I am willing to pay so much. I'm willing to pay $10,000 in a consulting fee. I am working for this company and they have allocated so much money in order to do a job. So whenever you're going to be approaching anybody about doing work, one of the things you have to do is you have to make sure they know that you are real. When I look at something like this, what is this? This is absolutely nothing. So the first thing is you have to convince the people that you actually have some money on the table, because I don't work for free and nobody works for free, right? The other thing is, again, that you have to explain enough about the project that it makes me interested in the project. I have got Eli the computer guy. I have all these videos to do. I have geekbraindump.com, the website, the forum, all that kind of stuff. I now have the Geek Brain Dump meetup going on. And on top of that, again, I have things, of course, that are going on that you guys don't need to worry about. I have a lot on my plate. I have more than I need on my plate. I could work 16 hours a day, 8 days a week right now, and still not get all the work done if I really wanted to push it. So one of the questions that you have to answer when you're going to be writing somebody is, what is interesting enough about your project in order to make me want to do it? So with Plixer, when they hired me to be a booth babe to go out to Cisco Live, that was interesting. The CEO of Plixer, calls me, talks to me, and says, "Hey, how would you like? I'm going to pay for you to fly out to Cisco Live, a premier international event, and I want you to work the booth for 3 days," right? Even the money aside, that is an interesting project. Hey, I get to be a booth babe for 3 days. I'd almost do that for free. I didn't do it for free, but it's interesting. So I know how much money is on the table. I know whether it's interesting enough. So that's one of the things. Whenever you're going to be approaching somebody, why is it interesting enough for them to do? And then the final thing is when you're going to be communicating with somebody, don't assume that they have any interest in replying to you. The more you assume that they should communicate with you, the less likely it is that they are. I have sent a message to you before and no reply. I presume you were busy, but this is urgent. This is all about, this guy really cares about whatever it is he cares about. He doesn't really care about my time. He doesn't really care about my energy, any of that. And so that's one of the things, is whenever you're going to be communicating with people, again, that's where you come off polite. That's where you come off respectful. Hey, I sent you a message before. I didn't receive a response. I want to see, are you available for work, right? Where in here is he asking me my needs? Where is he? I was wondering if you were available for consulting. No. I was wondering if you were available for doing a new project. No. Where is that questioning? The assumption is here that he is the most important thing, which I can tell you from my point of view, of course he's not. I'm the most important thing from my point of view. Or, I'm sorry, my wife is my most important thing from my point of view, right? But those are the things to be thinking about. When you communicate with people, always assume that they're not going to respond to you, so be as polite as possible. Open it up so that there is that questioning there. Give them something that they are interested in, like, why am I interested in this project? And then prove that there's some kind of real money on the table. If you approach people with 4 things like this, you get in the recycle bin that quick. And if you email me again, you go on the spam list. It's just how it is. So something to think about when you're going out there to approach people about doing, even having them do work for you. So the final thoughts today are on fear. Yes, that's right. Fear, this thing where none of us are supposed to admit to. And since none of us actually admit to fear, we all think it's unusual when we have it, and then we think it's a reason not to do something. Oh no, I shouldn't do that because I'm afraid. I'm a little scared. I do have to say, I'm a little nervous about tomorrow. So as you guys know, I've been pushing geekbraindump.com. I truly feel this is where the future of my business lies. And so one of the components of geekbraindump.com is the new meetup. So I've come up with this whole new meetup idea, and I've really focused in on the idea of basically doing geek happy hours, and then I think like geek dinner get-togethers. So like going to good restaurants and just saying, hey, how many geeks want to go, and then getting a reservation for 5, 10, or 20 people, and we all go and we all eat and we all have a good time. But what I want you to explain to you guys, just so you guys know, is that I am a little bit nervous about tomorrow. So tomorrow is the first time we're doing this. We're doing this out at Pub Dog Columbia, and I don't really have a whole lot of plan here. You know, I came up with the idea. Everybody shows up at 6 o'clock. We all chat till 8 o'clock. We drink pizza, or we drink beer. We eat pizza, and we geek out. But I have no idea how it's gonna go. I don't know. Maybe Pub Dog will be horrible. Maybe nobody will show up. Maybe people will show up and they won't really like each other. I do have to say I am a little bit nervous about it. And this is one thing that nobody really talks about, like I say, in the startup world or just in life in general. Like everybody thinks that everybody else is so strong and so courageous and they don't get scared. In reality, all of us get nervous. All of us get concerned. All of us get scared. I've had people say that before, like to me, because, I've traveled around the world and I've done all this wacky stuff. And so I explain to people, it's like, well, if you're going to be successful, you need to do X, Y, or Z. And they'll look at me and they'll say, but Eli, we're not all like you, Eli. Some of us are scared. And I think that's a funny thing, and because I get nervous too. I get scared. I've been all out afraid every once in a while. But the difference, I think, between me and a lot of people is that I know what I am really scared of, like that deep, dark monster in the middle of the night that makes you wake up in cold sweats. And for me, to be honest with you, the thing I'm scared of most in life, most in the entire world, is waking up one day, being 46 years old, having 2 kids that don't like me, having a wife that doesn't like me, being in a dead-end job that isn't going anywhere, and basically at 46 years old just wondering how many decades will it be before I can finally die. I think that's what scares me the most. That's what has me wake up in the middle of the night with cold sweats. So all the rest of this is kind of irrelevant. It's like, yes, tomorrow I am concerned about how the meetup will go. I'm a little scared about how it will go and with whether people will like each other and all of that. But I am far, far, far more scared of waking up at 46 years old, utterly hating my life. And so when I look at it, really, the fear of tomorrow isn't so bad. So I just want to talk to you guys about that a little bit with this final thought for today on things like fear, because I get nervous too. I mean, I talk about you guys, you need to knock on doors and hand out flyers, and you're like, yeah, but Eli, but we're not like you. We get nervous. I do too. I hate knocking on doors and handing out flyers. I cannot tell you from the bottom of my heart how much I hate knocking on doors and handing out flyers. But it's what you have to be to be successful. When I used to sit in the middle of flea markets or farmers markets handing out those flyers, computer repair, web design, computer repair, web design, I didn't like it. It doesn't make me feel comfortable and good on the inside, but it was what was required in order to push the business forward. So like I say, tomorrow I'm going to go out there and we're going to see how this meetup goes. And literally right now, I have 26 hours from when I'm taping this until I do that meetup, and who the hell knows what will happen, but I will deal with a little bit of fear about it going poorly, so that if it does go well, I get the success later, if you get my drift. So that is the final thought for today. We all get concerned, we all get scared, we all get a little bit of afraid. The question is what are you more afraid of in life? And I am more afraid of waking up at 46 and hating everything. So I'm happy to say that tomorrow is the first of our Geek Brain Dump meetup. So as you guys know, I have geekbraindump.com, and this is the site for you guys to write posts and to communicate, and it's got a forum and chat and all that kind of wonderful stuff. And so in addition to that, I have created a meetup for Geek Brain Dump, and tomorrow is our first official happy hour. So we're getting together at the Pub Dog Bar in Columbia, and hopefully we'll have a good time. So we have 8 people going. So that's pretty good for our first go round. But I'm excited. So basically, Pub Dog. There is a Baltimore version of this that has some of the best pizza and best beer, I have to say, in all of Baltimore. And so this is their little offshoot out in Columbia. And I got a lot of people saying that they wanted to have a little meetup out in Columbia. So I decided, hey, we'll just make the first meetup out there at Pub Dog in Columbia. So if you are watching this and this is, this isn't after July 23rd, you should come on by because we will be going there, we will be geeking out, and we will be having a fun time. But this is the meetup. We've got 96 members so far, and so we're going to be meeting, I think every Wednesday at least, we are going to be doing a happy hour somewhere around the Baltimore metro area. So if you haven't joined this, all you have to do is if you go to geekbraindump.com, you click on this little join the meetup group, and you come here. But this should be a fun time tomorrow. I'm very excited, and I will tell you guys how it goes.